Thanks for joining me. I'm Kira, and this is the last video in the series that I'm doing on the Minor Arcana of the swords, the suit of swords. So if you haven't already done so, we've already done, I've uploaded the series for the wands, which of course was the element of fire. And we've also uploaded the series on the suit of cups, which is the element of water. Now this is the swords, and we've come now to the end where we're now looking at the various court cards, and this is the element of air. And so if you haven't looked at the earlier videos, do so you might get a better sense of what's going on here. But this is the element of air, and of course lastly I'll do the videos on the pentacles or coins, which is the element of earth. So air sign, remember air sign is about communication. You know, it's about it, therefore it is about things like our perceptions, conflicts, our boundaries. It might look at things like all our absolute knowing, our logic, our reasoning. It's everything to do with the intellect. It can also indicate stuff like fear and anxiety and worry and laws and values and morals and leadership. It's just everything you think about how the mind, the role of the mind and how it plays out in your life. Now we're looking at the Minor Arcana. So we are very much looking at your day-to-day interactions, your day-to-day life and your day-to-day living. And versus more the spiritual side, which is what we looked at with the Major Arcana. So this is the Minor Arcana. So if you think about the element of air, you know, you need air to breathe, you need air to speak. So therefore what we say and how we say it is all part of the swords. So it's about what words we use. It is about our expectations and our ideals and our ideas and our truth and our justice, so everything relating to that, everything in the world relating to that, how we express ourselves is all part of the swords. So our hearing, our lungs, as I said, our clarification. So you might be looking at things like, what am I saying? Do I do what I say? Do I say what I mean? All those sort of things are elements of air, elements of the swords that come into play when you see the swords appear in a reading. So here, as I said, we've got the court cards. So we start off with the page, then we go to the knight, the queen, and the king. Now in various other decks you'll find these may have different words, but the general essence is going to be very similar. You know, when you see, now also remember the court cards can represent someone in your life who comes in with a particular energy that reflects the attributes of this card. Or it may be, I find, a part of your personality or part of your being that that particularly shines with these attributes in the particular situation, or as a part of you that needs to shine. So it's identifying maybe something that needs more emphasis. So keep that in mind. How do you know which one it is? You have to rely on your intuition, rely on how it comes up in the reading. If you're reading for yourself, if you're reading for someone else, you know, it's an exploratory moment of discovery to figure out which side of the equation is. I often think it doesn't really matter. It's saying though that this particular energy is significant, and you'll know the truth of which way it's coming, depending on the situation at hand and how it manifests. So the page. Now if we look at this page, you know, what have we got here? You know, we've got this young person sort of standing here. So it's someone who's very young at heart, you know, and, you know, they are holding this wonderful sword in the air. So, you know, it's representing a type of truthfulness being exposed, or a searching for new information or new ideas, you know, sort of that young, enthusiastic element of the mind around intellect and thought process. you know, this, you know, it could also represent that, and within reference to that, there's some sort of tension that's come up because they're holding the sword very high, as though, you know, you might say they're ready to give it a swing if they need. So, you know, so I could say that maybe they're feeling a bit in some tension around their ideas or the thoughts around what is around them, in terms of the environment. Is there some sort of conflict? Is there like too much going on? Is there a struggle with this amount of intellectual energy? So when I see this, it might indicate that a person may need a bit of a break. They might find they need to sort of reflect on is there a conflict between this internal enthusiasm around intellectual processes and how the environment is perceiving that. It also might just say that there is high energy around and high enthusiasm, and how can I use that? How can I make that work for myself? The Page of Swords is very much a logical learner. So in terms of the learning element, they understand why things work, and they want to understand why things work the way they do. They like taking risks around thinking about ways of thinking and new ideas and clarity around things. They therefore may blurt out their thought processes. Definitely when the Page of Swords is around, the person wants to speak their truth. They want to tell you about what they've been pondering lately. They are very open-minded. They love new ideas, new systems. You love to problem solve, love to, you know, get in and think about and solve a challenge. Wonderful person in terms of if this is your mechanic and you take your car in and say, I don't know why there's a problem, and they really want to get in and figure it out. It's that type of energy. So it's not a young person, it's the energy of a young person, that enthusiasm. It's that kid, when the energy when you sit down and you see a problem and you just want to stay focused and figure out how did it work and put something back together, pull it apart and pull it back together. So you think about thoughts like, you know, it's saying you go for it. You know, there's a bit of a green light that's been shone. The energy around you says, you know, go for it. You know, jump in, follow your passion. Be true to your energy, to your thoughts, your ideas. Encouragement for you to move forward, or for those around you to feel forward. You know, align yourself with people who will nourish you and your ideas, and will appreciate that you want to manifest them. This abundant energy and passion and enthusiasm. It's not around just waiting around. You know, it's sort of like that energy of I can't wait. I want to get started. I want to get onto this new project, this new idea. I have this huge amount of energy and excitement, and I just want to go for it, which can be quite stressful, you know. So the other side is that, you know, you don't want to burn out when you see this or feel this type of energy around you. So that's sort of how the page sort of plays out. Now we're going to have a look at the Knight. Now the Knight, as I think of, as it's a little more mature energy. So it's that sort of teenage, young adult type energy. The Knights, remember, all about action. You know, the Queen sends the Knights on a mission to engage in the world, following through with the element that she embodies, which in this case is air. So, Knight of Swords, horses moving incredibly fast. I mean, the speed, it's telling you the speed of thought, speed of communication. So, the internet is a perfect example of this. You know, the way social media, the way things move with the flick of a button, information travels so quickly now. This is truly an element of the Knight of Swords. You know, this Knight is very brave, energetic, you know, very confident, very expansive, loves to negotiate and debate, and loves to, you know, speak their truth, and loves embracing the new technology of today, is always wanting to be, you know, connected with the latest and fastest and best way for communication to travel. That sort of that quest to champion the way information is moved. They, you know, so when you think about how that might manifest in your life, you know, therefore it's that real focused sense on getting the message out there, which can be a very positive. It also can therefore become overwhelming. You know, there's no stopping when the Knight of Swords is sort of in in progress, is in part of it. There, because, you know, the Knight is so focused, this horse is going so fast, they don't really stop to ponder the risks around them that could potentially be there, or any dangers in what is happening. It's all about succeeding and pushing this ambition and determination to succeed. Therefore, may not even be aware of how others are feeling or what's happening. There's no feeling going on here. It's all about get it done, move this information. So what can the sideline can be, there can be a type of neglect around understanding the needs of others or where others are at. Wonderful if you're starting a new project. Wonderful if you wanted to get a new marketing plan out. This is the kind of energy you want. You know, it's that wonderful if you are wanting to, you know, install a whole new computer system around, or if you're looking to engage in a new way of expanding and engaging into multi-marketing type things in a business sense of point of view. Can be very positive if you are wanting to, you know, get that book published and just get it moving. You know, because it's a very powerful, very engaging energy. You know, this Knight is, you know, it's that get on your horse and move things along. It's that spirited energy. It's that lover of sharing and expanding one's ideas and values, and with great confidence. And you know, you feel incredibly confident when this Knight of Swords is around to stand up and speak your truth. It'd be wonderful if you were going off to give a lecture or speak at a conference or something like that. You want the Knight of Swords to appear. So kind of keep that in mind, and you know, you can kind of see that it can be very useful energy. It also can bring up some challenges as well, depending. Okay, so now we're going to move into the Queen of Swords. Now, remember, if you've looked at the other videos, the Queen embodies the elements. So this Queen, she is the embodiment of air, you know, of this element of communication and thoughts and values. And she holds the sword, you know, very upright, you know, but she's very stiff in her posture, you might notice. But you know, this is a person who will speak their truth no matter what. So if you ask them a question, you want to know that you truly want an honest answer, because that's what you're going to get from the Queen. This is a very mature type of intellect, a very good ability of somebody to analyze things, to make good judgment, very impartial in their thought processes. They're not influenced by emotion in this particular situation. She likes to know how things work, or what they are, or why they are the way they are, where they are. Sort of the what, where, why, how, and who are very important to the Queen of Swords. That's the information she wants you to bring. That's the information she will share back. You know, her love of communication is how she connects with others. So she connects through intellect rather than emotional understanding. If you're needing a hug and you're needing some emotional support, the Queen of Swords is not the one you want to have around or embrace. You're wanting this Queen of Swords around when you want someone to help you problem solve, when you want somebody to be your advocate, when you are looking for someone to take charge and really to show good leadership. You know, to take on that project and organize for this whole new computer system to be installed. Queen of Swords, fabulous. Because she has great independent thought and judgment, you know. She uses her unbiased intellect in order to make good judgment and around a particular situation. You know, she really thinks very clearly, you know, great clarity of thought through absolute knowing, you know, and it's all logic and reasoning. In fact, probably a great judge. No emotion in the way, you know, quick thinker, you know, very perceptive type person. That's what you're looking for. Just cuts through the noise of any confusion that might be from an emotive realm, and goes straight to the intellectual pros and cons of the situation and lay it out. So therefore, someone very upfront, very honest, very impartial, you know, if you look in this imagery here, the sky is very clear, brilliant clarity, as I said, of thought, and therefore able to see things as they truly are. So to consider matters from pure intellect, and sort of, you know, I think when I see this bird, I think that represents this intellectual processes of the mind's ability to sort of soar above any day-to-day stuff that's not relevant to the issue and really get to the heart of the matter and therefore solve it, which can be wonderful. You know, that power of reflection and analytical ability and diligence and absolute truth. When the Queen of Swords around, there is no issue around truth of the matter. You will truly know the truth of the matter, and that can be a wonderful thing, I feel, in an asset in a situation. But you've got to want to know that you want to know the truth. That's the other side of it. Okay. King of Swords. So moving on, it's again where it's swords, communication, intellect, thought. The king, of course, is the ruler of the element or the suit. So the king is the symbol of that ultimate intellectual power and authority. But with that comes great courage, and he's very represents that masculine energy of truly want to accomplish. So the queen is the feminine side of this pure intellect. Now we have the masculine side. Doesn't have to be a male or female. It's the energy that is represented, the masculine, the feminine energy. All the court cards, remember that. So he represents, you know, true judgment, and she commands, and he demands good rulership. You know, he's therefore can seem quite stern, perhaps. You know, the kind of career would be, you'd see it, so that judge, that lawyer, that military commander. No need or does not enter the realm of emotion at all. But therefore, the king asks. You know what? It demands that you remain detached, that you remain objective in this particular situation, that you ascertain the truth of the matter, that you seek out the facts and then you apply them to the situation, and that you use your intellect, and that you are very successful in your ability to expand and use your mind. So very important around education, and that use your education, your experience, and your knowing and your wisdom to analyze any day-to-day situations. Therefore, you would use the king would say, look at past history. You know, what has worked before? What are the rules? What are the laws? It's all about diplomacy with the king. You know, around looking at the truth in terms of what is real, what is important. Forget about things that aren't important. So when you hear someone saying that, you hear yourself saying, well, you know, that's not really important. That is the King of Swords speaking. You know, the king, when it can appear, if you're working with someone else, they may appear quite stern, a little bit aloof maybe, because they're so in their mind. You know, this perception, this truth of the matter, this focus on the intellectual pursuit is so important. But you know, if this is someone you're needing to play that role for you, like a judge or a good lawyer or an advocate, that you just want to stay focused in the matter, you know, the king can be very, very advantageous. Because the king will encourage you as well as represent everything about logic and intellect and navigating the path ahead by looking at the heart of the matter through intellectual analysis and awareness and decision making from a place of fairness and justice. So those are the sort of words you'll be thinking of. You know, it can be that, you know, that professor or professional advisor or solicitor or attorney or tax consultant. You know, you want the tax consultant just to get the job done, and yes, you want them to know everything there is to know and do the right thing and get it done, and you know, that's what you're wanting in that career, and that's what is represented by a quality King of Swords moment. So think of that, and know that when the King of Swords is around, you've got high ethical standards being applied. What will be represented will be truth of the matter. It will be fair. It will be just. It will be from a place of intellectual wisdom and knowledge, drawing upon past experience and wisdom, as well as looking at the matter clearly. very cut and dry from that masculine point of view. You know, that very sort of can be seen as that very sort of stern or angry father figure, but that is part of the love of how the king represents to themselves to the world. Okay, so I hope you found that useful. If you'd like to catch up with me, please go to my website at www.carolwoods.com. Also, please leave me your thoughts, comments, ideas. Please like, share, and subscribe my videos. Thanks very much, and if you haven't done so, check out my monthly and weekly readings as well as my other Major Arcana and Minor Arcana videos that I'm working on. Thanks very much. Have a great day. Cheers. Bye.